Hello guys, in this video I'm going to explain all types of sequences. So here we have the title, sequence. Okay, sequence is a very important topic in IGC. So let's start. First sequence we call it linear. Let me give you an example about linear sequence. For example, 3, 7, 11, and so on. Okay, now if you want to find the next term, so you have to see the common difference between the terms. If you can easily notice here that the common difference is 4. So here the common difference is 4. Now usually we ask you to find the nth term. So how do you find the nth term in this sequence? Okay, first step, you take this 4 and you write 4n. So that is first step. Secondly, you replace 1 here for n. 4 times 1, you get 4. Now, what do you need to get the first term, which is 3? You need minus 1. So now you write 4n minus 1. Now, if you want to check whether the sequence work for all if you want to check whether the nth term here works for all the sequence, you have to plug 1 for n to get 3. If you plug 2, 4 times 2, 8, minus 1, you get 7, and so on. So the nth term now is 4n minus 1. Let me now give you another example. So let's say here we have 5, 11, 17, 23, and so on. Now the question is, find the nth term. In order to find the nth term, as we said, we have to find the common difference. So what is the common difference here? From 5 to 11, 11 minus 5 is 6, 17 minus 11 is 6, 23 minus 17 is 6. Okay, next step, we write 6n. Now, next step, we plug 1 for n. Now, 6 times 1, you get 6. What do you need to make it 5? First term. I need minus 1, which means I have to add minus 1 here, and then I will check whether it's correct for all the sequence or not. So 6 times 1, 6 minus 1, you get 5, it's correct. 6 times 2 minus 1, 12 minus 1 is 11, it's correct. 6 times 3, 18 minus 1 equals 17, this is correct. So this is the first type of the sequence, and this is called linear sequence. Let's now move to another type of sequence. For example, here, let's say we have first term is 1, second term is 4, third term is 9, fourth term is 16, and so on. So this is called a quadratic sequence. Why? How do we get first? How do we get next term? In order to get next term, you have to do 5 squared. Why? Because here Here you have 1 squared, then 2 squared, then 3 squared, then 4 squared. So clearly next term will be 5 squared. Now what about if we ask you about nth term? What is the nth term? In fact, the nth term will be here n squared. Okay, n squared, which means if you plug 1 for n, you get 1. 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, and so on. So here you have the nth term is n squared. Now, let me give you another sequence. Let's say we start with 4, then 9, then 16, then 25. Now, the question is, what is the nth term? How do you find the nth term in this case? Okay, clearly this is very similar to the sequence that we spoke about right now. We said 1, 4, 9, 16, 25. So you can easily note that these two are similar. But this starts with 1 and this starts with 4. So there is a difference in the first term. So since our first sequence was n squared, okay, clearly the second term should be similar to the first one, because the two sequences are very similar. So now we check. If we write, for example, n plus 1 squared, let's check whether this is correct or not. If you plug 1 here, 1 plus 1 you get 2, squared you get 4, correct? If you plug 2 for n, 2 plus 1 you get 3, squared you get 9, it's correct. If you plug 3 for n, 3 plus 1 4, squared you get 16, correct? So that is the nth term of the second sequence. Now let me give you an idea about another sequence. What about if you have this sequence now? 1, 8, 27, 64. So what do you call this sequence? In fact, the sequence is called cubic sequence. The nth term in this case is n cubed. So for example, 1 cube, 1 to the power of 3, 2 to the power of 3, 3 to the power of 3. So here 1 to the power of 3, then 2 to the power of 3, then 3 to the power of 3, then 4 to the power of 3, and so on. So here you have the nth term for this sequence is n cubed. Now what about if I have another sequence which starts at 8? So let's say you have 8, 27, 64, and so on. In this case, what is the nth term? Clearly, This sequence is very similar to the first one, but it starts with 8, which means this sequence starts the second term of the first sequence here is the first term of the sequence here, which means I need to add 1 to the nth term here, so I get n plus 1 cubic. So that is the nth term of the second sequence. So 1 plus 1, you get 2, cube, you get 8. Like this, you found the nth term of the sequence. Thank you very much indeed.